Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to make something a little bit Italian. I'm going to make Pizza Quattro Stagioni. 4 seasons pizza to you. Before we start, a quick shout out to Dallas Gerber, who recently made a donation via PayPal. Thank you very much, I do appreciate it. And also to Rick Atkins, who requested this. He says, make a pizza, no pineapple. No, he didn't. He said no sweet corn. Okay, not a problem. Neither of those things feature in Quattro Stagioni, so that's a relief. I've been making a pizza nearly every Saturday afternoon for the last 2 or 3 months, but I've never made this variation, so I'm looking forward to it. Basically, it's 4 pizzas in one. How can you not love that? If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's get on with it. Pizza Quattro Stagioni. First job is to make the pizza dough, or if you are a complete and utter cheating scoundrel, you can buy it. But it's actually really easy to make your own, so why not? And I think I should explain my red face. I went to a friend's house and we sat in their garden and had lunch, and it was sunny, and I was unprotected, unprepared, and now I'm paying the price. I'm making enough dough for 2 pizzas. So I've got 250 grams of strong white bread flour. I've got a teaspoon each of active dried yeast, sugar and salt, and 150 ml of warm water, and also a sploosh of olive oil. Actually, I'll put some in the water to start with. Add these bits, the salt, the yeast, and the sugar. Get those mixed together. You can do this by hand, obviously, with a wooden spoon, or use a stand mixer. Add the water with the bit of oil in it. And when it's all mixed, we'll change to the dough hook. And just set that going and let it knead the dough for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, nice blob of pizza dough, so I'll just put a little bit of oil in a bowl. That is probably too much. And then add the dough, just get that coated in the oil to stop it from sticking to the bowl, basically. Cover that with plastic film. Leave it in a warm place to prove until doubled in volume, and that'll take an hour or 2. Okie dokie, we have some very well risen dough. Now what we're going to do is make it unrise. Actually, before I do that, I just want to line this 12-inch 300 ml pizza tray, greaseproof paper. And you want a bit of flour on your worktop. I'm only going to do half of this at the moment. So you can keep that in the fridge for a few days wrapped, and it'll be fine when it's brought back to room temperature. Just going to sprinkle some polenta on the greaseproof paper, because that'll stop the dough from sticking a bit. So I've got the dough squished into a ball, and just try and roll it out a little bit into a disc. Yeah, if you can manage it, it's better to do it this way than to roll it out, but you know, it's not that easy. So I'll give up on that for now. Let's get it on the tray. Okay, the odd thing about Quattro Stagioni, 4 seasons. There are 4 different fillings to represent the 4 seasons of the year. I don't know quite how they work that out, but here's how it goes. For spring, artichoke hearts. For summer, black olives. For autumn or fall, mushrooms. And for winter, ham. I've also got some tomato passata and some mozzarella and some decorative basil, and there'll be some olive oil kicking about as well. So I'm just going to slice these mushrooms and give them a quick saute for about a minute in butter, just so they're not completely raw when they go on the pizza. So I'll take those out of the pan onto some kitchen paper. Now some other bits of chopping. I'll just chop the ham. The artichokes. I think 2 will be okay. Just slice them quite generously. And then we want to just cut the olives in half and slice or grate the mozzarella. I've got a special machine for doing this. Good old retro egg slicer, which we picked up from IKEA a few weeks ago. It's absolutely good for eggs, but really good for mozzarella. Right, let's start with some passata. Could use any kind of tomatoey sauce that you like. Could even make your own if you'd be bothered, but this, you know, this isn't the star of the show. This is just a base to give it some umami. Now, some mozzarella. And now the artistic bit of placing your different fillings in imaginary quadrants. I've seen people actually divide it up with strips of dough, which I think is pretty naff, really. So I'm not doing that. Now I'll put the mushrooms in this quadrant. Now the ham. This is English honey roast ham, but you know, pretty much use whatever you want. Use Spam. And the artichokes. And you can also change the ingredients if you want. You can use, you know, peppers, bell peppers, you can use tomatoes, meatballs, pepperoni, whatever you fancy. But this is like the original, traditional one. And I've been trying to find out where this originated. I know, and all anybody ever says is Italy or Napoli, which isn't very helpful. But, and also when, who had this idea of making this crazy pizza? I'm not complaining, I think it's going to be great, but it is strange. Now finally, a sprinkling of oregano and a drizzle of Evu. Okay, that is ready to go in the oven. The oven is not ready yet. It needs to be preheated to 200 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven, or air fryer if that'll fit in your air fryer. This actually won't fit in mine. For a conventional oven, that would be 220 Celsius, and that is gas 7. And we'll slap it in there when it's properly up to temperature, and we'll give it about 15 minutes. Okay, time's up. Oh my, wow. Oh yeah. Ooh, that looks grand. We'll let that cool down a bit because it is hot. And then we'll do a taste test. Right, it's cooled down a bit, so I just put some basil on there because it looks pretty. You don't actually want to cook basil onto your pizza. It doesn't turn out nice. Anyway, let's have a bit of this artichoke segment. That works for me. And I've got to try a bit of ham, haven't I? If you can't be bothered with all the fat of the different segments, then you can actually stick it all over. So every piece contains like the same stuff, but it doesn't look as pretty. So I could stand here all day and eat all of that. It's fantastic. So give it a like. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.